Welcome to another edition of 30 Braids in 30 Days, Common Man Edition. Before we get started, tighten up the business, I want to say thank you to the Barbering Studio, 102 North 38 Ave, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Benny Chastain, what up, Noob? Appreciate you. Uh, Need cut? Ken, you got to leave town before you come to the yard for a game? Hit him up, 601 450 3492. Mobile barber, he'll come get you right. Now that we've tightened up the business part of it, let's get to the show. Uh, Extremely excited about the guy I got right here, man, and everybody knows exactly who he is because way back in the day, he told you where the party was at. Where the party at? On the west side. So with that being said, man, I want to introduce everybody to our guest today, Mr. Montell Jordan.
What's
Go.
up? What's up, everybody? So good to spend a little bit of time with y'all. I'm glad I could be here with you today.
Good, man. Appreciate you coming in, man. And again, thank you for joining us on such a short notice. Uh, for those who don't know you, just give a brief introduction to Mr. Jordan.
Well, for those that don't know me, I don't know where you have been in your life, but no, no. Most people know me musically, recording artist, songwriter, some pretty big records from 1995 to mid 2000s. I've had some of the most recognized songs in television commercials and music videos from a song, This Is How We Do It. And it's probably one of the most sampled songs for TV commercials and things like that. Recently, I did something with Shaq and the General, and you'll see more stuff coming up in the upcoming years as well. But most of my life has been music based, and then probably within the past decade or more, I guess it'd be more than a decade since 2011. Yeah, just about 2011 was more ministry based, and so I've had an incredible journey musically and ministry wise. And if you're not familiar with that, there's this great thing called Google, and you can Google to find out all the stuff that is embarrassing for me to try and bring up and talk about myself. But I've been very fortunate to have some great successes in music and in ministry in my lifetime.
Right, right, right. So just kind of giving a little insight on you, being from the left coast, basically born and raised, correct, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
Uh,
sir. Yes, sir. Born and raised in South Central Los Angeles, California. I was coming up in the day and the time around just after NWA and gangster rap music, and I was there in LA during the LA uprising, which to the world is known as the LA riots after Rodney King. All those different things and places were that was home for me growing up out on the West.
and we've had several conversations, and now that you bring it up, I've it's always slipped my mind, but I've always wanted to ask you, like, how close were you to those scenes that we, growing up in Florida, seen on the nightly news? How close were you to those scenes?
Oh yeah, we was there in the thick of it. I mean, if I were to give you some examples, I would say that on the day that the Rodney King verdict came out, I was let home from work. I was driving home from work, literally on the corner of Crenshaw and Slauson, and I was watching the city burn. Uh, Crenshaw and Slauson is also the same intersection where Nipsey Hussle was murdered in front of his own store many years later. So I was there, during that time period. I was the best way I can explain it is when I was a kid growing up, we would watch. I grew up on Fourth Ave in Slauson, a little house in South Central LA, and I can remember we'll be watching the Cosby Show and A Different World on Thursday nights. And my whole family, we sat on the floor in the living room. We had a couch, but we would sit on the floor in the living room and watch television because of the drive-by shootings that you would hear in LA. You would hear news like you would hear in Florida about people getting shot in their homes. And so rather than sit up on the couch, we would sit on the floor. So that's how ingrained my South Central LA upbringing was during that time period.
Wow. So that was real life.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I ain't got to sit on the couch. I don't got to sit on the floor no more. I do that because I want to. But as a kid growing up, that was a normal thing for us. But I think the takeaway from that is that somebody might look at that and be like, oh, that's sad. They, because of drive-by shootings, they sat on the floor.
Right.
But my takeaway from that is me and my brothers and my sisters and my mom and my dad were all together watching the Cosby Show and watching A Different World together. So whether it was on the couch or on the floor, it didn't matter. We was a family and we were together. So it's all perspective.
And it's funny, man, because Digital Underground had a song, man, all around the world. It's the same song. While y'all were doing that in South Central, we were doing that in Fuller Heights. That's the name of my community.
Mm.
Every Thursday night, same lineup. You know what I'm saying? It's probably dark when we watching it. It's light when y'all watching it, but it's the same lineup. I think it's pretty much all the same. Around the world, same song.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to hear. So now we fast forward, you move on to high school. Now you're at Pepperdine, uh,
Hmm.
and your experience at Pepperdine. Now located from where you grew up, Pepperdine was how far for you?
Pepperdine was probably about an hour away from, me growing up in South Central LA to hitting PCH and then hitting up the coast, about another 30, 40 minutes up the coast. So, what's interesting is how I got to Pepperdine. So, growing up in South Central Los Angeles, everything about my life was black on black on black. Like, so my neighborhood, my church, my life experience, everything was all black, everything. Like, literally, it was your neighborhood, your surroundings, your gas stations, your stores, other than maybe some of the other cultural people who would set up shops in a neighborhood that was predominantly black. Um, it was kind of like I heard about Beverly Hills, but I was never in Beverly Hills. I heard about Bel Air, but I was never in Bel Air. It was kind of like your blocks and your surroundings kind of became like your community.
Right, right.
So I happened to go to a Catholic high school. I'm not Catholic, but I went to a Catholic high school, and there I had more access to diversified teachers and priests and people that did not look like me, if you're picking up what I'm putting down. And so it was during that time period, because of my upbringing, watching A Different World and seeing HBCU life and seeing black colleges and university, that was my only access, to it. So that's what I thought. I thought that when I go to college, I'm gonna go to a black college. I'm gonna go somewhere to Howard. I'm gonna go somewhere like what I saw on television. And I had this one teacher who looked like Christopher Reeves, looked just like the Superman. Yeah, yeah. We called him Superman, but his name was Craig Mitchell. And Craig Mitchell and I had a sit down one day when I was in high school, and he asked me. He said, what have you been told your whole life? And I was like, and first of all, when you got white people who are advocates, who are in the black community, who are teaching and who are looking to for equity and diversity and looking to help, to be a part of the advancement of all people, I had to listen to what he was saying to me, you know what I'm saying? Because he was there. He was there in the hood. He was there in the thick of it. And so Craig Mitchell asked me, he said, what have you been told your whole life? I said, I don't understand. He said, is there something that you can tell me that you have heard your entire life as a black man? And so, I figure it's maybe a triggered conversation or it's, something underlying. And so I said, well, I've heard all my life that in order for a black man to be successful in the world, he needs to be twice as good as a white person. That's what I've heard. I've heard that if you want to be as good, you got to be twice as good. Or if on a job, you got to be twice as this or twice as that. Somehow we have to be twice as, I'm saying, somebody who is not black.
Definitely.
And so when I asked him about, told him that my plans to go to college were to go to an HBCU or to go to, what I had seen on A Different World, he then asked me, he said, well, and this is just me, this is my personal story. He said, if you are being told that you have to be twice as good or twice as this or twice as that, why would you go and compete against other students who look like you as opposed to going and competing against students who don't look like you? That
Wow.
was, you got to understand this for me in that day and time was kind of a catalyst for me to be able to look at what I thought I knew. And so my choice to go to Pepperdine as opposed to going to HBCU was because I wanted to try and find the whitest college in America to go and compete against the whitest congressmen's kids and senators' kids. I wanted to find the whitest place I could find, and that was Pepperdine for me. Now, to say that that was a great decision, what I can say is the choice that I made did allow me to have a different diversity and a different training ground for what I would later be doing in my life, musically, performing in front of other people that don't look
Yeah,
like me in different nationalities
I get
and
it.
so on and so forth. But I did feel like I missed out on the culture. I missed out on the experience, the HBCU experience. And so I ended up getting as close to that as possible through my fraternity or through our fraternity, which is Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, which is kind of like the only fraternity that matters. But
No.
there are probably other people that are watching this, and so I don't want to alienate you.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
want you to, be comfortable with the
Yeah.
choices that you made. Uh, but uh, but no, so that is probably how I was able to connect with the HBCU community, being out in Malibu, California, and getting my degree from Pepperdine. But Kappa Alpha Psi then allowed me to connect once I started traveling later musically to all types of different campuses all over the world where I was greeted with open arms, from the HBCU community.
Who would have thunk it? Newts in Malibu. Ain't
Sounds like a TV show right there, bro.
That's crazy. So, as we speed up, man, the conversation, we don't want to hold you too long. You just made a point about, performing and being all over. So it takes me to where I became a fan of yours well before I met you. Your video, This Is How We Do It. Now, how much creative control did you have in that? And was I guess the Thursday night lineup growing up, did that play into how your video, This Is How We Do It, did that play into that?
Well, the cool thing is because I was introducing R&B to a hip hop label. I understand I was one of the first R&B artists on Def Jam Records. So I was a rap singer. Russell Simmons signed me as a rap singer. So it wasn't just like I was all R&B
Oh, you
coming
were.
in. I used to spit bars. I'd be in Cypher. I'd come off the dome like I was a rapper. And that was how I stylistically was able to carve out a pathway from other singers in the business who were around the same time I was. So when it comes to like video and creativity and things like that, of course, I had guys that were doing the do back then, like Hype Williams, like he was a big guy, or Rashidi Harper. They were video directors that were,
Yeah.
people that you definitely wanted to have. The guy that would go on to do the what was it, not Fridays, but the Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker the Rush Hour movies, Matt. These are guys that started out doing music videos for, like, what I'm saying, guys like me. And so that's where they were getting their chops and everything, doing, music videos. So as far as the creativity, yeah, when you see me with my baseball cap on or the Loke sunglasses from LA, or sitting at a table playing spades,
Yeah.
or see me with my cane or the low ride, like a lot of that, they had to get that from me because that was my upbringing. And that was me saying, hey, this is a part of the culture where I'm from, and I want you to capture that, what I'm saying, on film. And so not just the original video, but also the remix video, Daytona Beach, Florida. You know, I didn't drive the cars with the, you know, with the flap up wing doors and all that. And, you know,
Butterfly.
that wasn't me. That was, you know, just baller lifestyles that the label, you know, brought into it. But like me having the cane or being out there on Daytona Beach or all of
Yeah.
those things, you know, those things were me. So I like to say I brought a fair share of the authenticity of my life to all the video stuff that you've seen me do.
Because that Daytona deal was a deal that they used to have back in the day, man. And we were actually down there, Black College Beach Week.
Mm-hmm.
Why they call it Beach Week, I don't know, because it was a weekend. But yeah, that was the deal. And then 2 weeks later, you had Freaknik in Atlanta. Those, you know, those are stories from way,
Yeah.
way back. Um, but just, you know, to speed through, you know, for what we're doing here, the HBCU experience. You know, we had a chance to have you come speak to our team last year for homecoming, and then they learned a cool fact about who your father actually is and what he's meant to world athletics, not just athletics, the world of athletics. If you could, real quick, just kind of tell the people who you know your father is and what he's significantly, you know, known for.
Yeah, a lot of people do not know, but my mom is married to a gentleman by the name of Dr. Tommy Smith. Dr. Tommy Smith is the 68 gold medalist and Olympian from 1968. He is known for the silent gesture, shoes off on the podium, the raised fist, one black glove, with John Carlos taking third place in the Australian, taking second place, taking the silver. So yeah, that's coach, that's dad, and without question, our family has, I feel like, been rooted in a legacy of having people be successful, whether it be in athletics or academics or music, in the arts. Um, we strive to make sure that we're doing our part to be good contributors to society and to and so I'm glad that now I get to be a part of the Alcorn family through my son being there and being a part of what you guys are doing. The programs, not just athletically, but academically as well. And so, yeah, man, I think I've got some pretty rich culture, and your school, your entire organization has some rich culture as well. And I think when those things meet, it's a great opportunity to try and see moving forward into the football year and into this entire upcoming school year, how to bring those things together, do something synergy wise to, you know what I'm saying, to bring more visibility to the culture of HBCUs and specifically to Lorman, Mississippi.
Because that had to be like super dope. You probably didn't know it. When did you realize how dope that was, man, to have that as your father? You know, when did it actually strike you like, wow, that was huge what he did?
Well, understand he's been, you know, for almost 2 decades, you know, been there, you know, our family is a blended family. So I grew up not knowing my biological dad and then having an adoptive dad and now having him as a dad, you know what I'm saying? So that journey of understanding the greatness of that gesture, I've always known of it. But it's more natural when you grow up and you see gold medals in the room. You just figure, oh, those are supposed to be there.
That's
You
just
know,
what.
like my wife's dad. He was a cameraman for ABC. He's won Emmys, and so when you see people getting Emmy awards, well, for us, every time I go to the house, there's a couple of Emmys up on the wall. So gold medals and Emmys and platinum plaques, and it's just not bragging. I'm saying
No,
it's
right.
natural for us to have high achievers in our fold. And so I would say when it really clicked to me would have probably been last year when they finally gave him his Wheaties box. It was 50 years later after
Right.
being the fastest man in the world and changing what he did for social justice that Wheaties finally
I don't know.
gave him his own Wheaties box.
Right.
And so
We do.
me seeing my dad on the Wheaties box was like, oh, okay, this is like we've always known it was big, but now we get to see other people recognize how big the gesture was.
It's not everybody just gets Wheatie Box, you know what I mean? So, you know, so with that being said, you know, moving forward and wrapping, you know, wrapping the conversation up, if you had to tell one person on this campus, one person on another HBCU campus who's looking to pursue the avenue that you went down, what would be that nugget that you would be able to give them?
Here's what I will say, Fred. Regardless if they were trying to go my path or whatever path I believe God probably has destined, you know, for them, whether that's athletics or a higher level of athletics or medical profession, whatever field it is that you are looking to pursue. The greatest thing that I would say is that the small things matter. And I don't think people fully understand that. I just had a beautiful piece of jewelry that my wife got me, you know, for I think it was my birthday. No, it was just for Father's Day. I got a beautiful piece, and it's a gold cross that's got diamonds in it. It's a beautiful piece. It's got a chain, and the connector of that chain has this little tiny pin that allows the chain to swing on the chain. And I was recently out traveling, and that pin broke, and it came loose, and I almost lost the whole value of the chain because of this one little tiny small pin. And of course I'm having it repaired right now. But the thought to me was, no matter how big or was highly visible, you couldn't even see this pin, man. It was so small and you couldn't even see it, but it was the thing that was holding the whole thing together, you know? And so if I could leave you with anything, I would say more than being seen and being praised, if you are the one that's holding the whole thing together, that's just as valuable as the thing that you can visibly see, because in our lifetimes, we will find that most of the things that are important are the things that are unseen. Now, if you don't understand when I say the things that are unseen, I would say that if you want to know what's really important to a person, you got to look at the stuff that's unseen. Your heart, you can't see your heart. You can't see your lungs. Those are things that are internal organs, and they are hidden for a reason. They're hidden because they're extremely valuable. And if for some reason your heart is visible or your lungs are visible, you got a problem, because those are things that are not supposed to be seen, but they function and they do what God created them to do. And without them doing what they do, the entire body does not function. So on a team, whether you're the most visible or whether you're that pin that's helping keep the pieces together, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's in the chem class, in the lab, on whatever team you might be functioning in, and whatever extracurricular activity, whatever band member, whatever dance member, whatever it is that you do, sometimes it's not the most visible that is the pin holding everything together. And we got to understand that if we have a connectivity to God, for me, who's the pin that holds everything together for me, then that's how I try and approach everyday life. With, I don't just want to be out there and be seen or the thing that's highly visible. I want to be the one that when people say, who put this whole thing, how does this thing function? It's because I know the pin that's holding everything together, and everybody can swing from that thing because there's something there that's solid that's holding everything together. So be the pen.
Be the pen. I get it, and I appreciate it. But before we get out of here, couple questions that we ask everybody at the end.
Yeah.
Whopper or Big Mac?
Big Mac.
Okay.
What? Let me tell you, the only thing Burger King got to offer is them onion rings. That's about it. Everything else, fries, burgers, all that. You got to go.
Frosted Flakes, Cinnamon Toast.
Frosted Flakes. I'm grown.
The General or Allstate?
I got to go to General, man. Them my folks right there. That's where the checks come from. How you think we can afford them chains?
I just wanted to make sure, man. I just wanted to make sure. Hey, man, again, appreciate it, man. Look forward to seeing you here on the yard shortly. With the things me and you talked about, man, I can't wait for for it to come to fruition, for everybody to tap in and see, and for our kids to uh, be able to touch someone such as yourself. And I know you don't, you're not that guy who wants that, man. But when you dropped knowledge. You gave everybody in the room something that they could take, which I hope from this tape that somebody grabs something from you. I know the first time I met you, you put me on to something new in my life. I had never heard of extra hot at Starbucks. I can only get it now, extra hot, but I got that from Big G, you know what I
You're
mean?
welcome.
So with that being said, man, I appreciate you. Again, uh, I can't thank you enough, man. You're one of a couple guys of your stature that whenever I call a text, you answer, you pick up. There's others, but we'll get to them in the calls as well, man. But I can't thank you enough for that. And again, appreciate you. Thank you. Have a great day. Tell the wife I said hello, and thank you. Thank her for allowing us to have this little time with you.
No doubt. I appreciate you, Coach. I appreciate the program. Y'all know y'all gonna see them black hats. Y'all gonna see them hats up there in the stands. I'll be up there. I'll
So when
be
you
up
get the
there.
hat line, you got to come back because we want to be able to promote that thing. And I'm still waiting for my, but
Waiting to
we'll
get
get
the
into
mine.
that as it
Yeah,
comes.
yeah, for sure, for
I
sure. No doubt.
appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, man. God bless y'all. Take care.